Welcome back to Studio F1 Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Halloween. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Kory with me, and Kory, you're just stacking on top of that 50. Back for number 51.
We're going to be close to 70 by the end of the week.
Yeah, we're about to pound out 6 here, so we're going to take it back to 1978.
I meant 60. I forgot how to count.
It's okay.
Thanks.
I knew what you meant.
Thank you.
We're going to take it back to 1978, and the poll winner this week was Halloween, which you and I text when I post these polls, and we pick who is the favorite. And like we said last week, we had the upset. We thought Star Wars was the favorite. We thought Halloween was the favorite. And the favorite prevailed this week.
Yeah.
No upsets in 1978.
Yeah. I mean, this one I had stronger faith in.
Yeah. But nonetheless, we're going to talk the original, and then we'll continue through the week and talk about 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to talk about the original hexology, I guess you could say. We're going to stop before we get to the 20 years later and the different timelines and all that. We're going to just do the original 6-movie timeline. But it starts in 1978 with the original Halloween, directed by John Carpenter, who we got to meet and is a pretty cool cat, if I do say so myself.
Decent guy.
Yeah. Cast-wise, we've got Donald Pleasance, phenomenal. We've got Jamie Lee Curtis. We've got PJ Soles. We've got Nancy Loomis at the time. But we'll start with the good, and I think we're going to stick here for this review.
Yeah.
There will be a couple other we might stick in the good for most of it.
Sure.
But
Sure.
Yeah, man. This is
everything.
This is
good night, everybody.
It's a fall staple, man. From atmosphere to cinematography to just the Halloween feel, it has it all. I don't know if I can think of like a more iconic fall movie.
I mean, it's just kind of a staple, and it's a staple in horror. It's a staple in movies in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a staple in like fall movies. I mean, if we're doing seasonal movies, it's probably number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the movie.
It does everything you want right.
Boy, how lucky they were that they decided to use the title Halloween for the movie that does it best.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
That could have easily been taken well before this movie.
Yeah. But, I mean, John Carpenter, it's cool, too, because you hear, like, you know, now that it's now 47 years old this year. So we've gotten to hear a lot about it more than just watching it. And, like, you know, you hear, like, oh, this was, like, on a $10,000 budget. Like, he had nothing compared to budgets you get today.
Oh, dude, they had peanuts.
And how the mask was made, you know, it's William Shatner's Captain Kirk mask, and like, you know, when you're a kid watching this, you have no idea, but you're like, you can see it when you figure that out, and it's so cool. And then how Nick Castle came to be the Shape, and like how he was just like, can I come check out the set? And then John was like, throw this on, and boom, he is the Shape. And it's just like all of these things you hear just add to like the charm almost of this film.
I mean, for anybody out there who's really interested in this franchise, by the way, I recommend Taking Shape 1 and 2. They're 2 books. It'll take you through the process. At least Taking Shape Part 1 takes you the process beginning to end of every Halloween movie.
Yeah.
How they came to be. Taking Shape 2 explains the differences and, you know, what movies we almost got instead of the versions that we did get.
Yeah.
And especially that first one. It's wild how vague this movie was.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they got, John Carpenter attached, it like became such a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning, they were just like, what about a slasher? And it's called The Babysitter Murders.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then developing like mystical elements behind it, basically, and like lore. And I mean, just so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird how it's a testament, man.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that start to finish, I am locked in. I'm dialed. From the moment they're driving up and all hell's breaking loose in the rain and you got the wrench on the hand to break the window to Loomis making his call saying that evil's on its way, and then obviously the night of Halloween, and you know we get some fun interactions too between Laurie and Michael with, him in school or her in school looking out the window, him behind the bush, him in the backyard. All of those just iconic, eerie, scary, honestly. It's one of those movies, man.
It's hard to talk about because how do you say everything without saying everything?
Yeah.
I mean, the beginning of the movie alone, to me, has the most iconic one-take Panaglide scene in any movie. And they did it forever ago.
And you got the mask POV, too, which is really cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's fun knowing the ins and outs of that one-er. Just knowing, like, to make it look like a child's hand, they couldn't have, like, a grown man do it, so they had to get Deborah Hill to do it.
Yeah.
Who's, just because a woman's hand's a little bit smaller. And this is just one of those movies that I grew up watching, even though it scared the absolute piss out of me. I wish I could have just kind of seen it as an adult for the first time and not known anything about it.
Yeah.
Because when you watch, like, again, if you know it's a serial killer movie,
yeah,
you don't expect the unmasking to be a child. Like, that was like a huge shock factor thing that people were not expecting.
That's fair.
I would have loved to have had that shock factor. As a kid, it shocked me, but it was more so, if anything, it just scared me even more because I was like, so someone I go to school with could be this guy?
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm glad I watched it as a kid because I feel like we have a few friends that don't think fondly of this film, and I feel like it's because they don't have the nostalgia, maybe.
For sure. I mean, it pays it's a huge factor for sure.
Yeah.
Let's be 100% honest.
But they're also just wrong.
Yeah. Well, they're also wrong.
You know who you are. But no, I mean, I watched all of these movies that we're going to talk about this week at a fairly decently young age. I mean, I had most of them watched before Rob Zombies came out, and I was 8 when that came out.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
But this one, it's just like you said, it's a testament. It stands the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last October where I didn't watch this film. And it doesn't even have to be October. I watched a day, and I still had a great time on February 26th watching.
I mean, the more I was thinking about these movies today, the more I was like, I should just, because we've been doing a little rewatch with Rosie for her first time, and I was really thinking about it, and I was like, maybe I won't rewatch the whole franchise right now because that would be silly, and wait to watch, where we last picked up off. But I'm like, maybe I'll rewatch everything that we've already watched up just because I'm in the mood for it.
Yeah. Honestly, when you just start talking about them, it puts you in the mood for these movies. Especially this first one.
The opening credits alone will put you in the mood.
The orange font with the pumpkin glow and
it might be my
iconic
favorite part
theme.
Of the movie.
Can we talk about the score for a second?
Oh, I have so much to say about the score.
What do you got?
Not really that much, but I mean, first of all, back then directors weren't really making their own scores. You know what? I don't know why I said back then. Nobody still does that shit, really.
Yeah.
Unless you're like Michael Giacchino is like really the only one I can think of that comes to mind right now.
Yeah.
And he only just started directing.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I don't know if you know this, he threw that score together like last minute as hell.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And now it's like one of the most iconic horror scores of all time.
It's
not
probably
even horror,
the
it's just most iconic. One of the most iconic
it's
scores.
Like that and Jaws are probably the top two like horror iconic thing. And it's the
Tubular Bells is probably up there.
That's fine.
We need to have a score episode one day where we're just
I don't know. I turned into the lizard
April
just
3rd
now.
is like National Film Score Day.
That's right. There is a day for it.
Yeah,
we will be there.
Yeah.
They like had a cut of this movie that they showed to the producers like Irwin Yablans and Mustafa Akkad and whatever, and Deborah Hill and especially I think it was Yablans and Mustafa Akkad were both like. It's kind of boring. And he's like, just fucking wait, man. I'm going to put some music to it. And they completely changed their mind about the movie. They said the movie sucked. And then they added the score and it like changed the entire tone of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the power in this movie, like I would say even like at least a fourth of it comes from the music. 100%. At least a fourth of it.
Oh, for sure. For sure. There's a lot of like just little tones here and there like a like or when he's walking you get the tempo kind of tones. Laurie's theme's always been my favorite.
That's that one's a very fall-y kind of vibe
for sure.
Weird. That score's so weird.
I know the easy
yeah.
pick I feel like is the main theme,
sure.
but I always loved Laurie's
It
theme.
is nice. I've always been a big fan of the tense down, and then the ting 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 ting.
Yeah.
But especially in that first theme, I spent probably 30 minutes trying to figure out one sound in that main theme, and I still haven't been able to figure out what it was or anything. It always reminded me of like a really high frame, like high speed camera taking pictures, and because whenever you get the do 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 and the boom boom boom, there's like something in the background that's like
Yeah.
I've never been able to figure out what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
But it like adds to me it adds the
Should've
most
asked
character
him
in the
when we met
first
him.
one. Yeah.
What did you use, man?
I didn't think about it. Honest to God, if I ever get a chance to meet him again, I'm writing that down and I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah, we were starstruck.
Yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad. I've worked around some celebrities in my heyday, and I never really got starstruck, but that one was pretty bad.
It was my first con, and we ran to his line immediately.
Yeah,
waited like an hour before he even got there.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, by the time we got up there, I was like, "It's him! Like, it's the man."
I was only upset
The master
because
of horror.
they played a little theme song while he was walking up to his thing, but they played like Christine's theme instead of Halloween. I was like, I feel like you're missing the obvious trick there, but
Yeah, you should have done
but
Halloween
respect.
or the fog.
Or the fog. I know you're a big fan of the
I am a
fog.
big fan
We'll
of the
get there.
But
We'll get there.
there's
There's just it's so fat and it's so weird. The time signature is like a 5-4 or something like that. It's super weird, and it's simple and something that I was listening to today because I listened to a breakdown of that for whatever reason, just because I was really thinking about the theme. Is what unsettles most people and especially me about the theme doesn't really resolve at any point or come to a climactic point. It always keeps you on the edge, which is the point of it.
Yeah.
So it never has a moment where it kind of finalizes out. It just keeps at that like weird pace. You know, to me, when I think of that theme, I feel like I'm walking through a maze, and every time I turn, there's a wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just I can't find my way out of this fucking thing.
Yeah, this
It's
movie is like, for me, it's crazy to say this because it's a slasher. It's a guy killing teens, but it has this charm to it, and it's because of that full atmosphere. But like, dude, I don't know if there's much in this world that beats watching Halloween when the leaves are turning. It's like misty outside, and you are burning a couple candles in the house while it turns to night.
Absolutely not.
I don't think there is.
Absolutely not. It's you know what else is great about it? Because it's so compact into one day that you can start this at night and obviously it's great. But if you start it like a little bit later towards the day, because again, it basically, you know, you get the one, you know, at the beginning, there's some night scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
But really, there's a lot of day. And then as the night goes on, it gets darker. So by the time it's dark in the movie, it's probably dark too. So it kind of, and it's so easy to just fall into that.
Yeah.
That's like, dude, it makes me want to just lay in a bale of hay for some reason.
Honestly, it's just
the vibe.
Yeah.
It's
Drink
the
some
vibe.
apple cider.
The most I will ever be able to say about those movies. It's a vibe.
It is.
You know, I hate saying that because I sound like a hippie, but goddamn, it is a vibe.
It is.
This is the only movie I can think of where people, teens, ride around while they smoke, and I don't think anyone cared.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, drive a car, drink a beer,
And the
who gives a crap?
cop dad doesn't smell it, but
Even though they're like, "Oh, hi, Dad." That's great. Yeah.
Maybe it didn't smell as bad in the 70s. It wasn't as potent as we got today. But...
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They were fucking Reggie'd up.
but Donald Pleasance is also in the good for me.
Absolutely.
I know some people knock on the acting. I enjoy the acting in this movie.
It's hammy. I like it.
But Donald Pleasance is easily the standout.
He sells it. I mean, if you ask me, even though for me this is like a perfect movie, he's the only one I would actually label as being a good actor in the movie.
Probably.
Which might be a hot take. Jamie Lee has turned into a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But like he gives life in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he didn't really care for the movie at first.
Yeah.
Which doesn't shine through.
No. I mean,
the fact that he was an alcoholic certainly shines through in the movie.
I was going to say, he, like, delivers passion, which is crazy to think when you say, like...
Absolutely.
He didn't want to do it, but...
He's coming to your town.
I don't... And I mean, we're not talking about the Rob Zombie ones. We might visit them later, but I love Malcolm McDowell, but Donald Pleasant's the same Loomis.
I mean, yeah. I do love the McDowell version. All right, whatever. I do like.
I like him more as an actor than I like his version of Sam Loomis. But for me, Donald Pleasance was just like, it's one of those castings you look back and you're like, could anybody have done it as good?
I mean, yeah, he's the. I mean, if we're talking horror, he's like the J.K. Simmons of as J. Jonah Jameson of horror movies.
Yeah.
Because I truthfully, I couldn't even begin to think of who to recast this as if we did a reboot. I have no idea who's that crazy. Ooh, Willem Dafoe would be cool. Maybe. He might be able to do something kind of cool with that. No, I'm thinking about that. But no, I mean, he's great. I think I do tend to like Loomis. I don't want to say better in the next few movies because I think he probably puts in his best performance in this one.
Yeah.
But I do like that later on he's just yelling at kids. Something about that adds so much character in my mind.
Yeah.
That he's just willing to scream at a child.
He's the man.
Yeah.
Kills are good. What's your favorite kill in the original Halloween?
See, it sucks because we all have the same answer, but it's
Is it Bob?
Sticking him to the wall.
Dude.
Sticking him to the wall, man. Iconic. It's great.
I don't know. Yeah, Bob's mine. I was gonna say I do love the Linda kill just because I love that Michael like dresses as a ghost and puts Bob's glasses on.
I do think it is fun. See, that's the thing that makes the movie so good.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Usually no explanation in movie pisses me off to no end.
Yeah.
But I never want to know why he did that.
No, I love the vagueness of Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's what makes his character.
The mystery behind
for sure.
It. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
it's touchy. It's a
evil.
line to ride, but yeah. I mean, I love that kill. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm not really big on like kills anyway. That's not usually the stuff that gets me. But in these movies, I mean,
we're gonna get into some pretty iconic
tough.
ones.
It's tough
as we go. They get more creative as the movie juices start flowing too.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
I mean, this one? How many kills are in the first movie? There's the 3 friends, the dog, if you count the dog.
Oh, that's
The guy he stole the clothes from.
Yeah, a lot of these you don't even see.
I think is it just 5?
I mean, if you count a sister at the very beginning, yeah.
So it's just 6 in the first movie.
Which I do like that kill because it just.
That one's cool too because the POV.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. Every time I think about this movie, I always forget. I'm like, wow, you really don't see a lot of people get killed, and it's definitely something that you obviously see they ramp up very quickly.
Yeah, I think I saw Season of the Witch, which doesn't even have Michael in it. I think had 28 kills, but a lot of those were androids. Which we'll get into that in the third movie.
Don't worry about it.
I think Halloween Kills beat it with 31 for the most kills in the franchise.
That makes sense. Halloween Kills is definitely the most brutal.
Well, they have the firefighter scene at the beginning, and then they have the mob.
Oh, yeah, that's cheating, man. He gets them in, like, montage form.
Yeah, he gets, like, 25 of them in 2 scenes.
That's right, yeah.
But, yeah, this original, man, it's...
just untouched still.
Yes.
In a lot of
ways.
That's
literally the word I was just about to say.
It wasn't?
Untouched.
Just I don't even know, like, what to even... If I went out to try to make a movie to be like, I'm going to try to top John Carpenter's Halloween.
You're setting yourself up for failure if you're doing that.
I mean, obviously. But it's just tough. And I'm not a big fan of just constant movie glazing. Unless it's a movie I really love, I guess. I'm a prick. But this one, like, I will never have... I'll have things to say about it that I think are fun and funny. But, like, nothing ever bad.
Yeah. I would just like to someday make a movie that could sniff Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I would love to see that. I would love to. And I think, you have to think, it is, how old is Halloween now? 40-something years? Yeah. Almost 50 years. Hopefully we'll both live to see another 50 years. Something's gotta. We have a lot of cinema coming our way if we live a good, healthy life, so.
Yeah, we do.
But the problem is there's so many good little moments, like, to me. And when I think of Halloween, part of my nostalgia also comes from the fact that I've had the weirdest relationship with Michael Myers my entire life. And you are very aware of this.
Yeah.
that he scared me more than the devil himself.
Speaking over your shoulder right now.
Yeah. Terrifying. As a kid, he scared me more than the devil himself. Mind you, I was raised in a very religious household. The devil was spooky as shit.
Yeah.
Michael Myers was scarier to me.
Yeah.
And I could never pinpoint what it was, but it's exactly what they set out to do with that mask. I just couldn't tell. I couldn't figure out.
You're scared of William Shatner.
I couldn't figure. That's right. I bet he's mean to kids.
That's crazy though. Like just thinking about the mask and like how it's literally a Captain Kirk mask with painted white, hair dyed brown,
No,
and the eye holes cut a little bit bigger.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's what happens when you got $10,000.
That's also
You
weird.
create one of the most iconic masks of all time.
But it is weird to just. Star Trek is popular, so let's make masks that's just people's faces.
Yeah,
It's kind of odd.
that is.
But I guess we still do that with presidents and shit. So
Yeah,
like, no.
that's fair.
But like, he scared me to death.
Yeah.
He scared me to no end. Like, still to this day, if I have a nightmare, and don't you come at me in the comments or I will beat your dad up. And he scares me that even now, if I have nightmares and being chased or whatever, it's still Michael Myers.
Yeah.
I haven't. This is my favorite horror movie of all time.
Yeah.
By a long shot. He went from the thing that scared me the most to being one of my favorite
Yeah.
cinematic characters of all time. Like a top 10 easily.
Yeah.
It's a very strange relationship.
Yeah.
Honestly, by the time I'm ready to die, I'll probably be in love with him at some point, I guess. Because I don't know where else a relationship can go from here.
It can only go up.
But it's fascinating that
Yeah.
a character this great, that says so much, though.
Yeah.
Genuinely. That it can scare the pants off you as a kid and then grow into be one of your favorite things ever.
Would you say Michael Myers is the horror icon?
I would.
I would probably agree with you.
I would. And I like to be contrarian because I'm cool or whatever. I can't fight against the grain with this one at all, ever.
I think Freddy is maybe the only one I would try to fight just because he's a really cool concept.
Absolutely.
But I still think Michael's more iconic.
Absolutely. And Freddy's kind of got the funnier kind of thing, so I think
Yeah.
he is a little more attainable for kids.
I mean, they're both on the Mount Rushmore, let's be real.
Oh,
but,
for sure. For sure.
but yeah,
It's just
Mike,
it's
man.
hard.
He's the man.
It's just
I want to
hard.
be like Mike. No, I don't, but.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know. Just
we
a
do have the same tattoo.
vessel of evil. Ooh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, man. I don't even know what else more to say. It's just all in the good. It's one of those movies, start to finish. I'm locked in. I'm dialed. I'm having a good time. Doesn't even matter the time of the year. It's going to get the score I'm going to give it.
Yeah.
But if it's fall, it's a 13 out of 10.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just it just has one of the most interesting development stories I can think. Like production design and whatever is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I guess sometimes it'd be kind of imperfect because it's like there's leaves in this little area of the scene and nowhere else.
And then there's like
a reason for that.
there's a cut scene too where it
With
goes
rain.
from where it's like completely sunny. The next scene, everything's wet. It's
Exactly. Like there's things like that make it goofy, but like
it's also 1978, man.
I think the budget that they're working with now is like the equivalent of like $100,000 or something, and they had to squeeze to get that money. They had to most of the money they spent went on that Panaglide camera that they used, if I'm not wrong. But like the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis was just starting to act, and they're like, well, people are gonna come to see this. We got the daughter of Tony Lee.
Was this her first movie, or did Prom Night come out before this? I can't remember what year Prom Night was.
Prom Night was after this, I do believe.
After this, okay.
Because I think this really was Jamie Lee's like start.
Yeah. Okay.
And boy, she can't escape this, can she?
No.
It's kind of funny how she doesn't even play the titular character, really. I mean,
But now she's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
Yeah.
7 of the 13.
A lot. Yeah.
She's in over half the franchise.
She's very grateful, though. That's another thing I love about her. She's grateful to John for getting her start and whatever.
Yeah.
So she always brings it up. So that's...
Yeah, because she did The Fog with John, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But just phenomenal, man. Phenomenal movie.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have anything in the matter bad. Like you said, there's things you can nitpick, but they don't.
Well, yeah,
they don't hinder my score.
My meh things would be like the goofy things that, like the wrench thing.
Yeah.
Or like they didn't have very many leaves and whatever
It's
because
so
they didn't shoot
weird,
it in
'cause,
summer.
like-
But those are the only things I really can
I like those things though. Like I always look for the wrench
Those are fun details now.
because it's like I know it's there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like I always look for it, and I enjoy that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
it turned into a good.
It's still a good thing for me. I guess the only thing I would put in the meh is somehow this movie manages to keep the score that it has for me. And again, I don't think anyone's particularly that great of an actor in this.
That's fair.
Except for Donald Pleasance, probably.
Yeah, Donald Pleasance is definitely a standout. I don't mind. I think Jamie Lee Curtis did a good enough job. I like PJ Souls and Nancy Loomis.
When I first started watching this movie a lot, I really kind of didn't like Jamie Lee Curtis. But it's grown on me just because I think I also had to mature into, like, acting was different back then.
Yeah. More theatrical.
Yeah, it was more theatrical. And also, like, like, women didn't get to be, like, the main actors of movies very much. So I also probably, like, a lot of the movies I had seen were dumb action movies or whatever, and, women were, like, side characters. So I also probably had to, like, adjust that in my brain. Like, her performance is definitely reasonable in this, but, like, I just wouldn't say anybody's great except for Donald Pleasance, you know?
Well, we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Halloween 78? And what do you give it out of 10?
I mean, there's reason that I have a bunch of Halloween shit in my house. And again, having and I'm grateful for the relationship I had with it. Like, being able to become best friends with the thing that scared you most in life.
Yeah.
That's, like, such a great coming of age thing to experience that I don't know if many
people
get
It could have went completely
to.
wrall. You could be scared of horror movies because of it.
Oh yeah, we know some people. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I don't know if that's the reason they don't like horror movies, but that's what happens to a lot of people. They watch Michael Myers at too young of an age, and then they're done with horror movies. It's possible.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And honestly, I thought I was always going to be one of those kids. Mm-hmm. And then somehow I got the quick flip where I just now nothing scares me. But it's a great movie. I love the story behind it. I've come to love John Carpenter thanks to this movie. I've come to love this franchise just all from this movie. I mean, the goodwill of this franchise will probably live on forever because of this one movie. And it's the perfect Halloween fall movie. I'll never go another fall without ever watching this. Yeah. It's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10. It's a perfectly imperfect movie. It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, too. I'm not going to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
I also got to throw a little shout out to the closet scene, and then Michael setting up like the Undertaker, which I guess the Undertaker probably got from Michael if you really think about it.
We talked about that the other day, didn't we?
Yeah. But we didn't really mention those, and I love that final like face off scene, I guess. And then you get it was the Boogeyman. A matter of fact, it was. I just love that closing.
The ending is so great.
Yeah, man. Perfectly imperfect is the way to put it, because it's not by any means a perfect movie. But it will never not be a 10 out of 10 for me.
Exactly.
It's the perfect movie for fall, and it's weird because it's a slasher, but it's almost a comfort movie at this point for me.
I can go to sleep watching this.
Yeah,
100%.
It's like this was one that like I don't know, like I as a kid I was definitely scared of scary movies, but I like enjoyed the rush, I guess. Because it never deterred me from watching another one.
You had like a strong curiosity about it. Probably.
Yeah.
I was curious, but I had a limit where I was like, not that fucking curious.
So I got to see a lot of cool horror movies growing up. But this, through the start to now, it still is up the top. When I'm talking about I can't give you an exact answer on what my favorite horror movie is right now, but I would probably say it's between Halloween and The Silence of the Lambs if I had to throw two out.
That's fair.
Silence of the Lambs is more of a thriller too, so if you're going based off that, then Halloween's the winner.
Absolutely.
It's
absolutely
the night he came home.
It leaves you with the perfect sense of dread too. I mean, like you were talking about with the ending and stuff. I totally forgot to mention this in the good. One of my favorite parts about the movie, and why this is the kind of movie I want to watch with people for the first time, the ending is chilling when he's gone.
When he looks over the balcony and...
Yes, and, again, Donald Pleasance sells the shit out of that when his eyes grow big, and, and it's a great theme for the movie and whatever, but just the different shots of the different places that they had throughout the night, like, the living room and the corner and the closet, like, all these shots to remind you that the boogeyman can be anywhere. Yeah. That's so beautiful. So beautiful.
For sure.
So beautiful and inspired. I forgot to mention this. My favorite director, like 1-to-1, Jordan Peele. I think his favorite director is John Carpenter. He talks about him every time he makes a movie.
It's a good guy to have as your favorite.
Absolutely.
He's one of my favorites. He's probably my favorite horror director.
Yeah, absolutely. He's absolute. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's between him and Wes Craven, but I've definitely seen more of John, so I would definitely go John.
Yeah. It's just, what a man.
That'll do it for Halloween. Kory, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Stick around because we got 2 Through the Curse coming your way this week, but we'll talk to you all very soon.